Yeah, yeah. We just chillin' and vibing. Good conversations with good people. Oh. Good conversations with good people. Yeah.
Hey yo, this your boy Larry and Mr. GVO, and we chilling and vibing with Perris Jones. What's going on, man?
Not much, bro. Chilling, man. Happy to be here.
I hear that, man. Glad to be seen, not viewed.
Amen.
I
Amen.
hear that. I hear that. For the folks who may not know, who is Perry Jones behind that jersey?
Man, it's a lot, you know. I like to think that I'm kind of a Renaissance man, if you will. So I like doing art, I like painting, I like writing poetry, I like playing guitar a little bit on the side, a little bit of piano. I like nature, I like spending time with my dog, and I also like cooking too. I low key think I'm like a black chef Boyardee. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Type shit. I like that. It sounds like you very humble. That's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah, a little bit, man. I try to be.
Perris, where you from, man?
Man, I'm from Southwest Florida. It's a small town called Arcadia. Not a lot of people know where it is, but it's kind of in that Sarasota area, if you will. But that's where I was born and raised, man.
Growing up there, man, like, what's your I'm built for this moment?
Hmm. I ain't never been asked that question. That's a good question.
I'm about to go viral. I'm about to go viral.
um, man, honestly, my built for this moment probably came when I was like, we used to play throw 'em up, bust 'em up. I don't know if y'all know what that is, but it's like we go find a patch of grass somewhere, and it's one dude holding the football at one side of the field, and everybody else on the other side, and he throw it up. Whoever catch it, it's everybody against you, and you trying to score. And so I would always put my older brother and his friends, and obviously they were bigger than me. And so when I would catch the ball, there was one time where I took off and I made like three people fall. And like I like stiff armed the dude. And keep in mind, this is at like 7 years old and they are like 10, 11. So I'm like, dang. And I scored. And I was like, I might can do this a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like this might be in the cards for me. So my confidence kind of began to build from there. But it probably started there.
like that, like that.
When did your football journey started?
I started playing when I was like 6, man. And it was just flag football at that time. A little DCYAA league is what they called it. And we played for the Seminoles, my brother and I, and we used to have like 5 or 6 games, I think. But that's kind of where my introduction to football came. And my mom actually played football too, so and she was pretty good. She played running back as well. And so I guess I kind of got it from her and my dad a little bit, both of them.
Your parents together?
Nah, they separated. My mom, she live in Florida still. My dad is up here, married to my stepmother. Yeah.
Shout out to Mon Deuce, man. You know I always give a shout out to
Shout
Mon
out to
Deuce,
my
man.
dudes, man. Got to.
Very, very. But when did football stop being just a game and become your purpose?
Yeah, so I don't ever think football really was my purpose. I think that it was pointing me into it. So football was kind of, in my eyes, as it started, was just kind of a way to make a living for my family, if you will. Young African American kids growing up in the hood, the only way we got to get out is by playing sports. Football was kind of the thing that I thought I was the best at, and so I kind of looked at it as that. I wanted to impact lives through the way that I played the game, and I think that was more so my purpose. But I just loved that the influence that the game gave me more than anything, and that's kind of what I leaned into and where my passion came from.
So it went from flag football, little league, middle school. What high school moment you remember that just stuck with you, that still stick with you to this day?
Oh man, so we were playing, so it came at Episcopal High School. I played at 3 different high schools. I started at Osborne Park High School, which is a public school up in Manassas, Virginia. And then I transferred to Bishop Ireton, which is a public or private school in Alexandria. And then I transferred to Episcopal, which is where I graduated from, which is also in Alexandria. And so when I was at Episcopal, we were playing in our IAC, our conference championship game against Georgetown Prep. And I remember like I was having a good game and I came in at halftime and my coach was like, how do you feel? And I was like, oh, I feel good. And he was like, all right, good, because we finna give you the ball every play. And I was like, oh. And so literally they just I think I had like 35, 40 carries that game. Coming out the second half, I think I had touched the ball like on like 98% of the plays. And so that moment right there was pretty big for me, and I also kind of my confidence kind of started to really get solidified because I was like, all right, this is some good competition and I'm balling consistently. Like I can really do this.
So what's something people don't see behind the scene of being a student athlete at a high level?
Man, the long hours, so they have people oftentimes they're like, oh, the NCAA mandates that you can only have a certain amount of time, throughout the day dedicated to football. So they're like, I think it's something like 5 or 6 hours. It's way more than that, man. Like, you go to meetings and stuff. Like practice will start at I don't know, maybe 7. You're there at 5, doing stuff from 5 to 7. Then practice goes to like 10:30. So that right there takes up your 6 hour time frame, if you will. And then after that, you come back, you get treatment. Then you got to go watch film. Then you got to go meet with the coaches and go over plays for the next week. Then like it ends up being so much, and then you still got to come back from that and do homework and schoolwork and study and read or write papers. Then you still got to eat your nutrition, make sure you're eating enough and hydrating and stretching and all that stuff. So it's really a full-time job on top of trying to be a full-time student. It's really difficult, man. I don't think athletes get enough credit for that, for being able to juggle those two. It's not easy at all.
But they getting that money now. They got the NIL deals now. They
Yeah,
getting that money. They getting the
now
bag.
now they're getting compensated for all them extra hours. But yeah. So yeah.
Hey, ain't nothing wrong with that, man. What Sanders said, what prime time? Look good, play good. Come on now. You know the rest.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, you know the rest. Well, we gotta ask you this question, man. You went through a scary spinal injury. Can you walk us through that moment and the mindset it took to come back?
Hell, man. So that moment, so I actually prior to that game, I had conversations with my coaches, and they kind of told me that I was going to be in a position to kind of get a free agency deal, which for a kid like me, I started as a walk on.
Mm,
Getting the opportunity or a chance to try out was all I ever really wanted or needed. That's all I felt because I knew that I would work hard enough to earn my spot. And so we had the conversation where they said, you're gonna get that opportunity. You just got to finish the season healthy. All right. So going into that game, I was like, all right, I'm gonna just do what I need to do and get up out of there. Go on to the next week, get ready for the draft and all that stuff, and be good. And so then, I get hit, and the hit is a routine play. It's a play that I probably ran a million times since I was a kid. Ended the same way. See people coming at me, put my head down, hit them, and get up and go to the next one. Except when I sent that signal to get up, this time there was no response. And so I couldn't move. I'm sitting there staring at the lights of the stadium, and it's quiet, which is crazy when you got 60,000 people surrounding you. You could hear a pin drop. And then I was like, dang, man, they all like I'm laying here motionless. It's kind of embarrassing, right? And then I'm real big into my faith, so I said a little prayer, and then I kind of got overcome with a sense of peace that I really can't explain to this day. And so from that moment on, I kind of knew that the Lord kind of had something for me coming from this. And so when I went in to get surgery and everything, and I came out of it, my mindset was kind of really focused on really honing into why I really started playing football, which is something that I alluded to back when we first started this conversation. Is that I feel like my true purpose was to impact people through how I played the game. It wasn't really necessarily the game itself. And I think that moment kind of highlighted that for me. So having a goal of what I wanted to be and what I was trying to do is what really helped me in those times. And then obviously my community around me, I wouldn't be here without them. My dad, my coaching staff, my teammates, they all reminded me of who I was, at a time where I really needed it. And that gave me, confidence, and also gave me energy to be able to push through my hard days, because they definitely were those, where I'm kind of sitting there and I'm like, dang, man, like I can't go take a walk. I'm frustrated and I can't walk around the block, like I can't go hop in the car and take a drive. I can't do any of that, and having to really sit there and be in a position where you can't even brush your teeth by yourself is really humbling, and it makes you really look inside yourself and say, who am I outside of, what I'm capable of or what my physical capabilities are, but who am I intrinsically that I can display, without any of that. What's my mood like? What's my energy like? I can control those things, but so it just really makes you focus on the controllables, having a goal that I was chasing of where I wanted to be and what I wanted to do was also very, very crucial.
Right, right, yeah, man. I tore my ACL 3 times, man. So I kind of understand where you coming from. It's like, you gotta put God in your mindset every time, because you'll never know what's gonna happen next.
You don't,
So,
you
but
don't.
I'm just glad I'm still here. I'm glad you still good. You still do
That,
what you gotta do, big dog. You know. But like you said, man, gotta have God.
amen, brother. Amen.
Yes, sir.
So, like, what made you chose the University of Virginia?
Man, I did not want to go there. Because I didn't have a whole bunch of, big time offers coming out of high school. I had the numbers to match up with everybody across the nation, but I didn't have the size to. I'm only like 5'8", so the dudes that they was looking at 5'10" and all that stuff. So I didn't pass that eye test. So a lot of my offers came from those lower level schools or those Ivy League schools, and so I was kind of honed in on going to Yale actually. I taken a visit out there, went to a camp, did really, really well, had a really good rapport with the coaches and was beginning to work things out to make that happen. And then Coach Howell came and offered me a walk-on spot at UVA and I kind of talked to my dad. And it's always been my dream to play D1, as it is for every athlete. That's always been a goal of mine. And so I was like, I could take this opportunity, but being a walk-on is hard, like to say the least.
Right.
You don't really get any respect. It's a lot of thankless days. And so the journey was going to be long and arduous. But, my dad told me that, am I going to let somebody else dictate it or am I going to, be able to put my head down, believe in myself and make it happen? And so I took a chance and was blessed that it ended up paying off for me. But that's how that came to fruition. It actually transpired kind of very last minute.
So what's the legacy do you want to leave behind on the field and off the field?
Man, on the field, it's just relentless effort. I pray that all my teammates that I play with, all my coaches that I play with, can say that every time he stepped on the field, he was 100 miles an hour, doing what he was supposed to do all the time, and also being a great teammate. I always tried to make sure that I was bringing people along with me. It was never about me. It was always bigger than me. So I pray that that's what's said, and then I also, off the field, I pray that people just try to be a better person. You know what I mean? I try to make sure that I embody that is just being a genuine good guy, helping people when I can, whether that's taking people to class or holding the door open for somebody or picking somebody's stuff up when they drop it or, offering just, small things like that. Just
Right.
trying to make sure that I was an all around good person and putting my best foot forward all the time, or at least as often as I could. But those two things, a hard working dude and just a good guy on and off the field, honestly.
So, I gotta ask, man, your favorite NFL team?
So I lived in Washington State for a while. So I'm a big Seahawks guy. Back kind of when the 12 man was flourishing, and you had Cam Chancellor and the Legion of Boom and all those guys, and Russell Wilson and Marshawn Lynch at the height of their career. So still to this day, still the Seahawks fan, even though we're a bit shaky.
Mediocre, mediocre.
Hey, I'm a Carolina guy.
Yeah,
We rebuilding, man. We rebuilding. I ain't gonna say nothing about them champs. You see the champs, he wearing the jersey and all, but
Yeah,
yeah,
you
man.
still, man.
Yeah. Hey, man. I wasn't raised in Philly, but I feel like I'm a Philly boy. I
Hey,
used to pray. Hey,
hey, I
hey,
respect it, brother. Y'all had a
word.
good year, man. Y'all had a
Hey, yeah, man. Anybody say, man, you talking sound just like Jalen Hurts, man. You too humble, man. Just like you too calm. Like where you get that from?
Honestly, man, it wasn't always like that. As a kid,
Oh,
I was
oh,
wild. Like
no.
I was loud and in everything, but as I got older, I kind of just mellowed out. I don't know who maybe I could attribute it to my dad. He's a very even kill dude. Very level headed, never too high, never too low, just somewhere right in the middle. And that's kind of how I try to be, is just kind of be a constant presence, a constant mood and mindset. And, I never think of myself above or beneath anybody, always right with them, all the time. So that's where the humbleness comes from. I never think I'm above anybody or above anything. I don't think anything I've done makes me any better than the next man. So yeah.
Respect, respect.
so how you feel about the NFL draft, man? Let's talk
Politics, man.
about it.
Politics. It's but that's just the direction that the game is moving in. I think that they did Shador crazy. Um, that don't make sense to me, but That's just the nature that the game's going in, man. It's all about clicks. It's all, and I think I saw a stat where just off of him alone, like the attention to the draft was so much higher. They had like 2+ million people watching the draft, waiting on him to get drafted. So it's like, dang, like it's a money game now as opposed to it being you playing with this man's talent and his future and his money essentially just because you want more views is crazy. But I think that's the direction the game is going in, man.
Yeah, it's crazy because Derek Carr just retired today. So make that make sense.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Yeah, come on. Seriously.
Man. But hey, who am I? I'm just a fan, man. You see, as long as we keep winning, we get. I don't care about the politics. As long as we win, we good.
Hey,
Real.
so what
But
about
check
that
this
prank
out, man.
phone call?
Bro, I see that made me mad. I'm not gonna lie. I was real mad because it's like these kids, these people, these men, they worked their whole lives for this opportunity. Like they put in so many hours. There's so many emotions tied to it. And you know that they're waiting, not even them alone, but their families are waiting on that call so that they can celebrate. And then you're gonna play with them like that and like and it's already you already know that he's struggling, not really struggling, but like he's going through a rough time because he knows he should have been called earlier and you
Yeah.
just add to it. Like it's so unnecessary, man. And like that's once again, like that's the spotlight that you're put in as an athlete, but sometimes people take it too far, and I think that's one of those instances. Honestly, that dude, I don't want to say it on y'all podcast, but he got what he coming to. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah, that fine. That fine was woo.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
know his dad. I know his daddy. Shit. Boy, you pay me back for life.
yeah. Literally, literally.
Yeah, but my thing is, man, if you want to do that, why you recording and
Why you
posting it? So
recording?
it's like, come on now. So you want to get caught? That's what it
Yeah,
sounds like to me.
really.
I was like, that don't make sense, bro. But hey, they ain't no robbers, no killers, no thugs. So they ain't got that mindset. Cause if I was prank calling, I ain't gonna lie. Where your phone at? Put it down.
Yeah. Hey,
Put it down.
seriously, no paper trail, man.
With no paper trail. We ain't doing that. You mentioned faith before. How has that grounded you during your toughest moment?
Man, it was everything, and I really attribute my grandmother for that. She typical black household. She kind of made us go to church, my brother and I, early. And we always went to the early service, 8 a.m.
Who you telling, bro?
No, so no
Who you
highway.
telling?
So she made us go, and in those moments, I really didn't appreciate it, because it was kind of something that was kind of pressed upon us. But as I began to grow and have different experiences, it was something that, like I said, really gave me peace, man. And because of that peace and that relationship that I have with my faith and with the Lord, essentially, in that moment, in my darkest moment, if you will, when I said a little prayer, the Lord really put his hands around me, and by all accounts, I'm really not supposed to be walking and doing the things that I'm doing. There's a lot of people that have my same exact injury that can never move again, so
Yeah.
I'm truly blessed, man, and I give it all to him. I wouldn't be here without him, and I truly mean it.
Like,
How was it going through that recovery journey, man?
It was long, man. It was rough. It was difficult because it was like you almost are kind of taken back to being a baby, so you're like in a baby's body, but you're a grown man mentally, so like I couldn't use the bathroom by myself. I couldn't brush my teeth. I couldn't feed myself. I couldn't drink water by myself. Like I couldn't do anything. I couldn't reach over and grab the remote and turn the TV on, so it's like being reduced to that. It was extremely difficult and having to start over, learn how to tie my shoes again, learn how to drive a car. I had to sit in the thing and like, dang near take another driving test, if you will. And so it was really, really difficult, but also it was an experience that I don't think I would trade for anything, like if I had the choice to go through that again, I would because of the perspective that it gave me. And I attribute everything that I'm doing and trying to pursue now to that. And I don't think I would have got to that place if I didn't go through that.
When you start to gain movement back, what was that like, man? Like, walk us through it.
Oh man, I remember the first moment. So it was I came out of surgery, right? And I kind of started being able to kind of wiggle the tips of my fingers prior to going into surgery, which was a good sign. And then after surgery, I couldn't move for like I think that whole day after, and then the next day they enabled me to kind of try to stand up and walk again. And when I could walk, the lady came and picked me up. I almost fell on my face, truth be told, because it just was like awkward and it was weird. But when I took those first steps, man, it was kind of like I knew like, all right, yeah, I'm gonna be good. If I could take one, I could take the next. You know what I mean? And so that was encouraging. It was a relief because I was worried. What would I be able to do? What won't I be able to do? And even after I took those steps, there was a lot of you might not be able to do this, you might not be able to do that. I've always been a kid that's kind of been, if I want to do it, I'm gonna get it done. I'm gonna make it happen. And taking those first steps, I was like, yeah, it's up from here. You know.
How did that experience change how you see in life, not just football?
Yeah, man. So I'm just grateful for everything.
Mhm.
Like I say gratitude is the biggest thing because there's so much that we do on a day-to-day basis that we take for granted. Being able to feed yourself, being able to go use the bathroom, being able to tie your shoes, being able to walk your dog, like those small, minute things that you never think about, like because you do them with frequency and they're normal to you. When you're stripped of them, you realize how blessed you are to be able to do them. So I would just say my overall sense of gratitude for everything that I'm able to do on a day-to-day basis. I'm thankful for the good, the bad, the ugly. It's a blessing to be able to experience it because there's some people that can't, and I've almost been on that side of not being able to. So yeah, I'm just thankful for everything, man. Everything.
It's never the end, it's just the beginning. Hey, I love that quote, man. What made you want to be a motivational speaker?
I didn't want to be, because it was just like I didn't, like I said, I don't feel like I'm above anybody, and I feel like people present me with the opportunity to do the motivational speaking. I felt like it was putting me in a position where it made people feel like I was more qualified to talk about certain things than they were, or I had the right to speak into their lives, and I didn't want to do that, And so my grandmother, my mom, my dad, they kind of just told me, you got a story to share, and people can benefit from it and take from it. It can help them. And I was kind of hesitant at first, and then I tried it. I went and spoke at a Shello High School shortly after I got back from surgery, just to see what it was about. I didn't get paid or anything like that. It was just literally just because they had asked me to do it. So I went out, spoke to some high schoolers, and it just had a huge impact. I mean, kids were coming up to me saying, you know what, I'm gonna go to college and I'm gonna walk on it and I'm gonna do X, Y, and Z because you did it. If you could do it, I can do it. Like I want to go do that. And I was like, oh dang, all right. I was like, dang, maybe this is something, maybe there's something here. And then seeing how it impacted them and how it made them encouraged to pursue things in their own life story or their journeys. Like even I had young ladies coming up to me telling me that, I encouraged them through my story to go do different things that they were scared to do. And I was like, wow, like, people are really taking something from this. So maybe I should lean into it. And the more that I did it, the more that I felt like the Lord was saying, this is the light that I want you to be in. This is the path I want you to travel down. And so the more and more, every time I do it, I'm more affirmed in that fact. And that's how it kind of transpired.
And when you doing motivation speaking, man, like are you still humble or you like ET the hip hop preacher? Like what like I need to know like what kind of motivation like I need to hear that. Like
Yeah,
what you on, man?
nah, dog. I'm always humble with it, man. I tell people even sometimes to start my talks, I'm like, listen, I'm no better than anybody in this room. Anybody, and I said, if you take something from my story and it can help you, great. If you think it's BS, you entitled to that too. So like I'm not above nobody, man. Like I'm coming in and I'm just trying to share my experiences in a way that hopefully you can pull from them and understand that not only, did I do these things, but you can do it too. And mostly that just comes with pushing through adversity because it's something that all of us deal with. We've all dealt with things that we didn't think we would get through that we have. So being able to highlight those and make you think about it, you're like, damn, I can do this. Like
Right, right.
I can push through this. I can achieve more. I can pursue whatever I want to do, make it happen. So that's my goal in speaking, man. It's not to make myself seem better or like some superhuman, but honestly to make myself and you realize that we're similar in a lot of ways. And if I can do it, you can do it too.
You very mellow with it. Very mellow.
Always.
See, you need me on your corner, man. If I see somebody while you talking and I see somebody over there on their phone, man, I gotta be like, ET, make it phone. Get off the phone.
Honestly, I haven't. That would be helpful, but I haven't dealt with that yet. Typically,
Oh, you gonna deal with that. That's why I said you need me on your side. Hey,
yeah,
talking now. Get off the phone.
yeah. Listen, we can talk about that.
Yeah, right. Facts, facts,
Yeah.
facts. Hey, man.
What's a moment that stuck with you while giving a motivational speech? You had an event and you might see somebody start crying or somebody come up to you and just hug you.
Yeah, so it was I spoke at a town hall here. It was like kind of like fireman's graduation slash just a government like check-in kind of a deal. And they allowed me to come speak. And when I finished speaking, this lady came up to me, man, and she was just bawling. And she was like, "Can I please give you a hug?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course." So I give her a hug, and she said, "I'm 60 some years old, and you just taught me something about life that I've never known. Like I have a whole new perspective on life, and you're so young, and the fact that you're like able to portray and ignite these feelings in me is amazing. And you changed my life today. And that like it made me emotional. I ain't cry, but like it made me emotional because I was like, wow, like people really are taking something from this, like it's really moving people in a way that's impacting their lives and impacting them in enough of a way to make them want to change their lives. And so I was like, wow, man, like that's powerful. But once again, I gotta give that back to God, man. That's not me. That's him. He's enabled me to kind of walk through the experiences that I've had and be able to talk about them or live to talk about them. And I'm blessed to.
I like that. I like that, man. Man, playing football, man. Who did you play for? Like when you go in that field, like me when I used to play football, it was always Mon Dukes. Like who was in your head when you were playing football? Like I
Yeah,
do this for McGladys. Yeah.
dude. Yeah. Um, it was definitely, honestly, my mom and my family, combined. My mom and I kind of had a period of time where we really weren't talking a lot. And like I said, so she was playing football as well. She was really, really good at it. And so I kind of felt like every time I played, I was, making sure I played well enough to where she saw something of it that she was like, that's my boy. And likewise with my family, I wanted them to be able to see what I was doing and know that um, I was trying to make them proud, and I wanted them to see how I was performing and how hard I was going and say, you know what, like I think I had a coach who said something that, made it kind of stuck with me, and it's kind of why I play the game or who I play it for goes into why I play who I play it for. But he said, your mama's somewhere sitting at home and she's saying, my baby's working so hard and he's making a name for himself. And he was like, is she lying? And I was like, dang. I was like, you know what? And like, in not only just my mom, but my family in general, they're gonna say my brother or my nephew or my son, he's up at college and he's balling. Are they lying? So I wanted to make sure that they weren't lying, when they said that.
Whoever did y'all highlight videos? Oh man. Well, they were doing it. They did a good job. They did a good job. But I was
That's
looking
all
at your
Taylor right
highlights,
there.
man. Oh man. That was hard.
I appreciate that, dog. That's our film person. Her name is Taylor, bro. She do really, really good work.
Yeah.
Hey, so you said Mon Dukes play football. Pops ain't did nothing. You got all your talent from Mon Dukes, man.
Nah, man, Pops played too. Pops was really good at ball as well.
Oh, okay.
He was good as well. That's why I say it's a combination of both. But yeah, my dad was real, real good. He was a real good track runner too. He was really, really fast. So I think I got a good combination of both my mom and my pops, man.
Down south, man, we don't got no female football down here.
Hey, I'm
Powder
telling
puff.
you, bro, my mom was a problem.
Yeah, in
She
South
played
We
with.
Carolina,
did
man,
have one.
we had one, but we ain't got no more though. Not that I know of.
Right, 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 right. But quick question, man. If how can I? If 10-year-old Paris could see you now, what what would he be most proud of?
Probably that he didn't quit, man. Like there's been a lot of situations in my life that have prompted me to stop or to give in to the different circumstances that life had presented me with and the different obstacles that were kind of thrown in my face. But, I think that he would be proud that he pushed through those, because what was on the other side of it was something to be proud of. So I think he'd be most proud of that.
If somebody was
Dang, bro,
looking
you
for,
questions from, man? Good
Say
Lord.
what now?
I said,
What happened?
where you getting these questions from,
he
dog?
go deep, man.
Hey, hey, listen, man. Every interview, man. Look, I always ask this question, man, because everybody got a story, you know, and your story was. I know you're very humble. Uh, Everything you saying, man, I'm soaking it in, man. Like, oh, this man's very humble, man. He gotta have ET sometimes, man. Like, get off the phone.
if
Get off the
somebody was
phone.
looking for, if somebody was looking for a motivational speaker, how could they contact you?
Oh, PerrisMJones.com, man. PerrisMJones.com. You can hit me up, or you can follow me on my social media. Hit me up on there as well. But the website is probably the easiest way. It has a whole sign up sheet and things like that they can do. And they can also email me directly at PerrisMJones@gmail.com as well. They just submit a request, tell me what they're looking for, and we can see if we can make it happen, man. Yeah, I'm open to talk to anybody and everybody. I'm not doing it for the money. I truly mean that. I'm doing it for the impact, and so pay is not a problem. So it's don't think I don't have enough money to pay for him to come. I'll come for a hot meal. So like it's I'm really really chasing the impact, man. Like I want people, I want to see people win more than anything, and I want people to know that they can win. That's my biggest goal, my biggest objective. So as long as I'm in a position to do that, I'll go anywhere and talk to anybody, man. I mean that.
Hey, Perris, you
Right.
too
And
humble, man. You said for a hot meal, hey man, gas too high.
a
They got
hot
at least
meal.
pay you to get there. They got at least pay to get you there, man.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that, but I just feel like especially in our day and age these days, man, like people are only doing it for the compensation, and I feel like if you do it for the right reasons, the compensation will take care of itself. It'll come.
Right.
So just make sure you win it for the right reasons, and my heart's in it for the right reasons, man. And that's to glorify God and to give these people something that hopefully allows them to change their lives, man.
Right, man. It's hard. It's too much hard, man. That's why I say you need me on your corner, bro. Cause look, if I see that phone out, well, that's a problem.
Yeah. Hey, bro, I'm gonna make sure I ping you next time I got.
Hey, I'm like, man, I know you see that man on the phone, man. Man, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. God got him. No, I get him. Hey, for sure, man. Oh, but quick question, man. When you playing ball, man, like what was your pregame playlist? Like what's your go-to artist, man, that you got locked in?
Yeah. So I'm man, Rod Wave is my dog, man.
All right.
Hey, it's something about him. Like it's just getting me in that mode. Either that or I'm listening to straight Young Boy.
I see
Yeah, see,
now.
young
Okay,
young
you
boy
got
gonna
me
get
there.
you.
I'm like,
Yeah,
my
one of
dog,
the two.
my dog playing Rod Wave while he about to go in the game.
Yes.
He's so humble and mellow. Yeah, I like that,
And
man.
speaking of that, you know who else listened to Rod Wave before the game?
Who that?
Jalen Hurts.
Now, you see, I got Shay Sean. I got Shay Sean Barkley, big dog.
Hey,
I
Saquon listened to him too.
he do. Dang, I'm gonna change my jersey. Hold on, y'all.
Tell you something about him, just get your mind right, bro.
No, I feel you, man. I feel you, man. Like, I listen to a couple songs, but I'm tired of the begging.
I
That's all. I don't listen to Keith Sweat. I don't like begging.
I hear that.
Just get off that phone, big dog. We be good. You feel me?
I got you, though.
Hey, man. But if you could share one message with the young black athlete trying to make it out, man, what would it be, man?
Man, I would tell him that the only limits that are on you are the ones you place on yourself. So if you want to make something happen, don't take no for an answer. Like there's gonna be a lot of doors that try to come and close in your face. And what I mean by that, I had we have meetings with our coaches to start the year, right, where we set our goals of what we're trying to do. And I literally told my coach my second year of college, coming into our second year, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna be the starting running back at the University of Virginia. And I kid you not, bro, he laughed at me. Like literally laughed at me in my face in the meeting. And so like You have two options at that point. You can like take that and be like, dang, I ain't never gonna play, and then you just stop caring and you prove him right essentially. Or you prove yourself right. So it's not really about proving other people wrong, it's about proving yourself right. So don't place no limits on yourself. Don't accept no closed doors. If you want something, make it happen. And there's a way to make it happen. So set that goal and go get it. That would be my advice.
What was that moment like when you was the starting running back going out there for the first time at University of Virginia? What was that feeling like, man?
Man, I was emotional, dog, because that was 5 years of just working, 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 and not seeing no reward really. And so it was like, dang, would this ever happen? Truth be told, I was in a position where I was about to quit, like where I had called my Dukes on the phone and I said, maybe it's just not for me, because I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do and then some, and it's still not happening. I'm stronger than every other running back, I'm faster than every other running back, and they still not giving me no shot. So maybe it's just the Lord telling me that He want me to go in a different direction. Thankfully, my Dukes always knows best. She encouraged me to keep going, and it ended up paying out for me. And so when I ran out there, man, it was just like, this is what I've worked for. I'm finally being able to reap the fruits of my labor, and I made it happen. I ended up being the first running back in over a decade to have 100 yards and 2 touchdowns in his first start. So it was everything that I wanted to be and more, man. I was blessed.
Man, what's next, man? What you got for us, man? Like any coaching, what we doing? You
Yeah.
do a motivational speaker, like where we at with it?
Yeah, man. So I'm about to lean heavily into this motivational speaking stuff, man. Because like I said, every time I do it, I feel like that's what the Lord's telling me. This is where I want you. And so I'm leaning full throttle into that and trying to make that my main thing. And I'll be doing that until I kind of get into a space to where I can create a nonprofit, which is my ultimate dream. And that's just going to be centered around helping kids who get overlooked, and don't really got a shot, and help them identify and realize what their dream and what their goal is, and put them in a position to give them the funds and the tools to be able to realize those, man. That's my ultimate passion. So moving into the public speaking, and I'm about to go back to school and get my doctorate degree here pretty soon as well. So I'll have that, and then speaking as often as I can until I can develop this nonprofit and what I envision it to be.
You got any events coming up? Something that we should pull up when I let me
Man,
know now.
I got one coming up, what, end of this month kind of. But it's more of a smaller type deal for a nonprofit that I work for. They're having a little graduation for their kids. And so I'm gonna go speak to them. I got that. And then I got something coming up that's gonna be in Charlotte here, in late June. That I'm gonna be speaking at this conference. So those are kind of on the horizon.
Okay, man. Yeah, man. Let us know, man. We'll come by, man. We'll come by for a hot meal.
Hey, come on
You know,
now. That's
we
what
we
I put that on the contract, man. Got to make
yeah,
sure the groceries is right.
you gotta make sure the groceries right, man. We'll come for a hot meal and shoot dollars. You feel me?
Bet, brother, I got you.
Yeah, man.
If um a young athlete, man, that's wanting to pursue a college
I
career
would
in
honestly,
football.
yeah, I would tell them to go for one, go where you're wanted. Because that's a big thing. Being in an environment where people see your potential and want to help you realize that is important. It's key. And then second, man, is just to have goals, and understand that with your goals, you may not realize them or see them in a year. You might not see them in 2 years, but don't give up on it. You know what I mean? Like set the goal so that it's to work towards. And sometimes you understand that who you become while you're chasing your goals is more important than actually achieving the goal itself. And so understanding and realizing that, and then also to make sure that they have a some kind of structure for themselves in place, is because, man, when you get to college, man, you gotta have a regimen that you follow that works for you. Like, it don't have to be the same one that everybody else got. Whatever works for you to be able to take care of your schoolwork, take care of your body, make sure you get in the film room, and make sure you get your nutrition, but also create some time for yourself as well, because mental health is hard to hold on to in those spaces. So make sure that you kind of create a regimen that enables you to do all that.
I like that respect. Man, look, I got one more for you, man. I ain't gonna go too deep. Pause. Man, when you're not training or grinding, man, how do you chill and vibe?
Yeah. Man, I like to take hikes. I got a husky, a Siberian husky, so he got a lot of energy. So when I got some time, we'll go find a random trail and go walk and look at the scenery and stuff like that, kind of get away. I like fishing as well. I like cooking, like I said, I like playing guitar, I like writing. I just like doing things that provide peace. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? That kind of enable you to escape because the lifestyle that we live is being athletes and even moving into this public speaker kind of a deal. It's just a lot of attention on you, So when I like to get away, I like to kind of get into the silence of life, if you will, and recenter myself.
Perris got a whole wolf in his house, and he talking about peace straight.
He chill, bro. He chill.
Man got a whole wolf in the house talking about peace. It's crazy. Hey man.
But
Oh
Perris,
god.
man, we appreciate you for coming to chill and vibe, man. But before we go, let everybody know what we doing.
We chilling and vibing, man.
Very.
Appreciate you, man.
Got you, dog. Appreciate y'all.
Oh yeah.